Hey. I wanted to do an add-on to my The Night I Lived video. There are some things that I mixed up, that I left out, that I want to clarify, and I didn't get into the aftermath. First of all, one memory I left out, and it's the worst one, actually, is having the person you thought that loved you, and you were going to marry. Uh, at some point, I woke up when I was on the floor after I'd gone unconscious, because I went unconscious 3 times. Once he lifted me up with the paper towels, once he hit me with the phone, and one other time I just, like, woke up. I don't remember the order of these things. And he was sitting on the couch, and I was on the floor. And I looked at him, and he was smoking a cigarette, and he said, "I know you're not dead. I can see that you're breathing." And I said, "I'm not pretending to be dead, fucker. I'm so fucking dizzy, I can't even move." And I mean, I was looking right at him. I don't know, maybe my eyes were all that open, whatever. That's haunted me. That is a haunting thing to hear. I know you're not dead. I can see you breathing. To the woman you love and want to marry. To anyone, really. Like, unless they're like a faker kind of person and you're normal, but like in this situation, like, you know, head wound, bludgeoning, all that kind of shit, like, yeah, fucking creepy. Horror movie style. Also, I wanted to clarify that the reason I brought up my abortion was because I had sent him an email because we were trying to be friends after high school, after having dated. Yeah, just friends. And I was super firm on that, and he kept trying to, worm his way in, and I kept going, no fucking way, no Jose. I emailed him that I was going through that, looking for support. Excuse me. He, in response, sent me a picture of his son, who was only a couple months old, and he had the woman he left me for, and had also consequently married because she had become pregnant. So, yeah, that's the kind of person that he was, but he would apologize. Oh, that was a mistake. I had sent that before I got your email or something, and I was a sucker. So I wanted to clarify, that's why I brought that up. Shit, there's other things too. Crap. I'm so tired and I'm so worn out from having rewatched it. It was such an experience for me. What else do I want to clarify? Oh, it took me 6 months to get a judge to say I could have my children back, but it took me 3 months of proving stability to actually physically gain custody. At some point, I had confused that fact. I think that's it on the corrections front, or the additions front, about the beating. Now, the aftermath. Oh, and I wasn't cooking dinner. They had dinner with the kids. I was making muffins, because I remember the cop going, "Oh my God, there's muffins in here," and turning the stove off, like looking at me like bizarrely, because it's this homey scene of making muffins, and I don't know. He just gave you a weird look. I don't know what he was thinking. I wasn't in his brain. But it was a strange look. He seemed surprised to find muffins. I don't know. Maybe muffins are surprising. Everyone loves surprise muffins. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm losing my mind. So I went to the hospital, and then we were both told to stay away from the premises for a certain amount of time because of PFAs. Then I was allowed to be back in the apartments, thank God, after 3 days, because I had 2 cats there. Three cats there. They ate the muffins. Poor things. But they kind of went feral. And I also gave them to my mom afterward until I found an animal-friendly apartment, and she did not maintain the male kittens at all, and I could not afford to get them fixed when needed, so they sprayed everywhere, and when I got them back, I could not stomach the spray smell. It made me throw up. It gave me a migraine. So we had to rehome them, unfortunately, because one of them was my daughter's cat, so she just kept on losing things. His name is Ryan. He was a striped orange tabby, and I told her, "I'll keep him if you want, but it's really making Mommy very sick." And, you know, she gave him up for me. I had to give up Bast because Bast was a female, and when my mom was watching the boys, she had female cats, and so she didn't want Bast in there. And I had no choice. I had to give Bast to a shelter. And Josh had abused her, choked her and stuff, because he, you know, thought she was peeing on the couch, even though I think it was the kittens, because, you know, that makes more sense. She had never done it before. And I don't know what else he did to her. I only caught her choking her the one time, but I know he abused her. So she bit people she didn't know. She only liked me. Best did not stand a chance. And I will regret that forever. She was a good girl, and she deserved better. She was a beautiful white Turkish Angora that I had been gifted for my birthday, and she was a show cat without papers. She had no flaws. She looked like Duchess from Aristocats. I should have named her Duchess, but I always said I wanted a white cat named Bast. Or two cats, one black, one white. Named the black one Snowflake, and the white one Midnight. Because, you know, I thought it was funny. But I've named my... Well, you can't really call him a black cat, because he's got something else going on in him. Some other... something... But his name's a lot more fun than just or Snowflake being ironic would be. So anyway, distracting myself, unpleasant conversations, aftermath, time to process that. I skipped that because I went on for an hour, felt like I had to stop, and that still needs to be processed. Sickles. Alright, so the aftermath of that was I got home to my apartment, got to feed my cats and start packing because we got evicted because it was the third time the cops had been called to the house. The first time was because we lived in the second floor apartments and the dickhead wanted to throw away something large, and instead of carrying it down the fucking stairs, he jumped from the porch like fucking Men in Black down to the goddamn ground. So we got the cops called on us for that. Because they thought he was a burglar. But that counted as one, and you got 3. The second time was for a dispute, him beating me up and me getting him out of it. And the third time was my charm. So I got kicked the fuck out. Plus, you know, he wasn't paying bills and stuff. So, even though rent had been paid, I mean, it was all in the shitter anyway. So I had to go back and I had to pack everything up. And I had to walk into the crime scene. It was a crime scene. This is one of the reasons to take it seriously enough to say that I was almost murdered. I mean, he was punching me in the skull. He was trying to cave my skull in. How else do you take all of that? It just wouldn't break. I have a hard-headedness. I am a Taurus. Stubborn, hard-headed. But, yeah. Well, I remember something else I wanted to correct real quick. I brought up my little space because he used to intentionally wake me up by calling me a name that would bring out my little and then rape her. So he did dark play without my consent. And we had a daddy little relationship without me knowing that's what it was because it wasn't really labeled at that time. But like when I was a little, he was my caregiver. But because he was my dom / master, because I was a slave at times, he did whatever he wanted. He just completely took BDSM and turned it into an excuse for abuse, and not what it actually should be. Not that it was necessarily something I wanted in the first place, certainly not anything I want anymore. I mean, I was a cutter, so being beaten makes sense, you know, it's a replacement pain, you know, then you don't feel guilty anymore. Or you understand why you hurt, or whatever your reasonings for cutting are. So, anyway, I just wanted to clarify, he severely abused my little. That's why I brought up the fact that I'm little, not because I like admitting I'm a freak. I'm not a freak. I know there's a large community of them. They're not freaks. I don't think they're freaks, but I think I'm a freak. Part of the reason that I'm being all of myself on here, even if I'm little. Okay, so anyway, what was the original subject before I did the add-on? Oh, the aftermath. So I come home to the crime scene. I told you about the phone. Of course, there was a spot of blood where I'd fallen. That was a little bigger than the side of my head. And that was just from the back, or from the top wound running down the back. The reason my hair was orange was from the blood being poured down my head, so I'm sure that helped it, like, transfer onto the carpet. But it was like a nice size stain, and I had to scrub that out, and there were 2 bloody handprints on the door from me looking through the peephole for the police. So it was just 2 clear bloody handprints, like it was Halloween. They didn't slide down the door. I slid down the door, but I evidently removed my hands. They were perfect handprints. Plus the scalpy bloody foam. He washed the dishes, so I didn't see the cup or any of that. And the paper towels had been cleaned up. And I asked my mom to come and help me. My friend at the time, Nicole, we no longer speak. But she was an amazing friend for a long time. But once again, I said I don't do one-sided relationships, and she didn't let me support her. She only insisted on supporting me whether I liked it or not, and it was becoming a bit much. It was one-sided in a very uncomfortable way. I mean, she bought Christmas gifts for my kids and stuff when I was too poor to buy her anything for her birthday, which was 2 days earlier. Like, it really felt so unfair because I couldn't do anything, and she never expected anything, but, like, how do you not feel bad, you know? But anyway, she really came to my rescue because she's that kind of fella, and was helping me pack up the apartment, slept there with me, because I just kept having the feeling that Josh was just in the bathroom taking his contacts out like he did every night. I would go to bed first, and then he would do that and come to bed. So he was just always in the bathroom to me, at least when I tried to sleep. You know, she offered to sleep in the bed with me. I said that was fine. She could sleep on the couch, but yeah, it was very hard for me. Sleeping in that bed. My mother came over to help. All she did was take the legs off a desk and then yell at me for not helping. Remember, I have a severe concussion with which I had passed out numerous times, lost complete consciousness, more than at least 3 times. And this is literally within days. They did not admit me inpatient, and I left against doctor's orders because I said I need to get to work. I need to get my kids back. They really highly suggested I go into a mental hospital to deal with my trauma, but all I could think about was getting to work, making money, and getting my kids back. It's one of the reasons that I tend to assign myself to a dollar value. And when my husband asks me how work was, I'll tell him how much I made. Not how it was, how much I made. Because that's how work was. So anyway, I got called to walk up to the police station because I was being served a PFA, which was ridiculous. And I walked there. I had to walk uphill, or no, it was level and it felt uphill, and then I had to sit down because I got dizzy. And the guy came across the street who was nice enough, the police officer, was nice enough to come across the street and saw me there because I called him and I said, I'm here, I'm on time, please don't be mad at me. I can't continue walking, I need to sit down. And he came out, and when he saw me and he handed me the PFA, he was pretty much laughing, but it wasn't like in a mean way. Because it was like, look at you, and he's putting a PFA on you. Like, I had, you know, like, just... And his stepfather was a police officer for the same department. And when I could, I walked into the department. The man was very nice, gave me assistance crossing the street because I was still very dizzy. Both of them held my arms and helped me get into the building. And his stepdad came over to me. And he told me that he had talked to the police officers who had arrived, and he said, yeah, I heard it was bad. I heard it was really bad. To have a police officer say that to you, you'd think would make an impact. But I was just like, yep. And he goes, but I'm not choosing sides. And I said, okay. I mean, yeah, I had bigger fish to fry at that point. Like, we talked up until recently. Before I deleted Facebook, we had talked a couple months ago. We had kept in touch. He remarried to a less psychotic person, and someone that seems actually very nice, but I only know her through Facebook, so But he seems very happy. He says he's very happy. He's living with a brain tumor, but he's living. And he's traveling the world. And I'm so happy for him because he survived that family just like I did. So props to you. Right before Josh nearly killed me, I actually had just confessed to him that Josh was hitting me. And he told me that they kind of had the idea. It was just I kept feeling like we were fighting, not that he was beating me. He was just bigger, so he won all the time. You know, I wasn't a beaten woman. It wasn't like it was the burnt meatloaf. Of course, my friend Nicole stopped being friends with me because I, one day, was like, oh my God, there's crumbs on the kitchen counter. I have to clean it up. He's going to kill me. And she was like, you're being ridiculous. Just leave it. And I left it, and he came home, and he saw them, and just, it was slamming cabinets, and you could hear him cleaning it, and he's left, you could, I'm going grocery shopping, and she, like, was like, if you don't leave him right now, I can't be friends with you, and I was like, sorry, bro, where I gotta go? Like, I ain't got nobody. I was surprised my mom let me live with her after everything happened, and that's only because I didn't have the fucking kid. And she charged me $40 a week for the fucking cats, and I made, like, nothing because I was dizzy on stage. I couldn't work properly. I went, but I didn't do anything for me. Plus, I was constantly having to hand her money. Oh my God, she used me so badly. That was part of the bad aftermath. She really, really used me instead of helping me. Like at one point, I had given her money. She bought lunch meat with it. It was my lunch meat. I made Ian's a sandwich, my husband, a sandwich, because he was giving me rides back and forth to work. I wasn't giving him gas money. I was like, the very least I can do is make you a freaking sandwich. You buy me meals all the time. And she yelled at me about it and said I was selfish and ungrateful and using her. So we had differences of opinion there. We did not work out very well. So yeah, she said that I was being lazy and not helping, and I was going over the ruins of my life and crying. I was taking pictures out of picture frames and tearing them in half so he wasn't in them, and putting a box aside of pictures of his children who were no longer my children, that I had raised for 7 years. That, you know, I had the whole potty train, got one off a bottle onto a sippy cup. You know, it helped I read to them. Their mother was Jehovah's Witness. All the holidays and birthdays were mine. They were my sons. And now they were gone. It was all gone. There was a Christmas picture taken of my middle son. And it was the first picture where he smiled. And it was the Christmas portrait that we had professionally taken of my daughter, his 2 sons, and my new son. I had a one-night stand. English accent got me. He was fixed. It wasn't his. But I kind of told him that eventually we were either going to have to figure out, you know, some sort of situation, or I was going to end up going outside the relationship, just because I knew me and I knew I wanted more children. And he acted like he wanted more, but once again, fakery, lies, deception, because when it came down to it, none of it. Broken promises, always broken promises. So, yeah, crap, I'm so tired, I lost my train of thought, and it probably mattered, and it's gonna be like a, I need to explain that kind of thing. I hope it's not, because it's gone. It's, my stress and my tiredness are, it's gone. It's gone. I'm sorry. Yeah. I folded all his stuff. I packed all his boxes. I left all his furniture that he had originally came with, his mother's table, the bed set, all that. I took the mattress because we bought that together. And it was a California King of fuck his stuff. And I took the sewing machine he liked because fuck his stuff. And I broke his best dad mug, and then I glued it back together all fucked up. I don't know, I did some weird stuff to cope. Scrubbing my own bloody handprints off the wall, that wasn't the fun part. Feeling like he was going to come any minute wasn't the fun part. Going to IHOP the next day, after I'd gotten the PFA, and him having just been released from jail by his mother, and him pacing in front of the IHOP once he noticed I was in there. And I couldn't leave. And the guy at the table behind me saw how upset I was. And he looked at me, and he went, is that the guy who fucking did that to you? And, like, I don't know this man. And he, and I was like, that's the sweetest thing, but please just stay out of it, you know? But he wanted me to feel guilty because his hair was all messed up. He was wearing the same clothes. I need to feel bad. He had just gotten out of jail. It was very obvious. You know, and he acted like he was talking on his phone, or he was talking on his own. I don't fucking know, but he wouldn't leave the fucking IHOP, so I couldn't leave the fucking IHOP because we both had PFAs. And I didn't want to call the cops because I didn't want to affect the business. And I know that police affect every business, as a stripper especially. I know that. And I am overly aware of that kind of stuff. Like, it's a consideration that I give that's... I always throw myself under the bus doing it. But I do it anyway. I don't know why. I don't know. I should have just called the police, but instead I just hid and stayed in there and freaked out until he left. And then they went through court, and he tried to defend himself, and the judge said it was scary how he showed no remorse, and how he tried to defend himself with photographs of defensive wounds, and that no mother should be separated from her child for any amount of time wrongly. So at least there was a little bit of justice in what the judge said, you know, confirming a lack of remorse. He tried to talk to me in court and said you could drop the charges right now, and I was like, that's not gonna get my fucking kids back, dude. You know, I had compassion for him. I kept staring at him in court. I forgot about that. And I kept getting yelled at. I don't remember who went to court with me, but they kept telling me not to look at him. But I was like, fuck you, this is the last time I'm going to be able to see him with these eyes because I'm going to hate him forever, and right now I still have sympathy, and I needed to have that for some reason, and I still looked at him as the man I had loved. And that's when he tried to talk to me. And that's when reality hit. What he really was. I'm not stupid. They made me take an IQ test and to get into the Milton Hershey School, which is a private school for disadvantaged children of high intelligence. You have to pass a whole bunch of tests and stuff. I passed all the tests with flying colors. I was in the final 5. I intentionally failed the psychological. I knew how to. I did not want to leave my mother. Soon after that, she put me to live with the babysitter, and then I was in foster care. So she was going to get rid of me anyway, so I probably should have went to the private school. But I didn't want to leave my mother. So, yeah, why did I bring up that? Jesus Christ. Word vomit. Just word vomit. Alright, well, this is clarification. The day I lived to Electric Boogaloo. Yeah. Life's unfair and fucking sucks sometimes. It so blows. I'm glad that he did me the favor and got me the fuck out. I wish it didn't have long-term effects like it does. I hope this helps me. I hope one day my daughter can learn to move past it. I saw my mother beaten. She had her teeth knocked out. And that always affected me. So, the same guy beat me with a metal ruler as a spanking, and I just fucked up too. So, why do we hurt each other like this? Like, why do people do these things? John wasn't a sociopath with the things he did to me and to my mother. My mother's first boyfriend, I remember. The reason we moved from California to Pennsylvania. But that's another therapy session, I guess. Thanks for watching, my loves. Your darlings for watching all the way through. I hope something in here was valid. I'm loopy. I'm tired. And I look like shit and I'm cold and sleepy. I really need to start taking care of myself. I'm really sad now. I was okay before, and now I'm really sad. Because I had more to say. I didn't know I had more to say. I thought I was just clarifying a little bit. Shit.